Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome at our conference. In less than an hour, we will have our conference on the company's results. But this is a special event. This is why we've created a separate conference, press conference, and a separate event. Our results conferences are never that interesting to attract that many interesting guests. Paulina Henning-Kloska from the Ministry of Climate and the Environment. Good morning, Minister. Jakub Jaworski from the Ministry of State Assets. Grzegorz Kinelski, the President of Enea. Dalida Gepfert, Deputy President of Enea for Corporate Matters. Bogumiła Strzelecka, Deputy President for Grid Infrastructure of Enea. Mirosław Czekaj, the President of Bank Gospodarstwa Krajowego. Professor Marta Postuła, the first President of BGK. And I also would like to welcome all representatives of Enea companies or employees that are involved in the project that we'll be talking about. Shortly, I would like to welcome analysts, journalists, and everyone watching us online. Welcome. Before our guests talk about the reasons for our conference, and this is the kind of a pleasure that I would like to hand over to them, I first would like to show you our short clip on energy transformation of Enea operator. And now we'll find out more about European funds. I would like to give the floor to Minister Jakub Jaworski first. Thank you so much. I'm very happy that we are meeting today, and I'm very happy to participate in this event. So first of all, I would like to congratulate on the management board of Enea and all Enea employees who are engaged in this project, in the organization and this kind of funding. But also would like to thank Bank Gospodarstwa Krajowego and all members of the administration who are involved in the recovery plans funds. And it's a big day. We're very happy that so many funds will be devoted to the expansion of distribution, the distribution grid. This is the example showing that state companies can, on the one hand, be good managers of themselves, but on the other hand, they also know how to make use of the state's economic policy, because the expansion of distribution grids is absolutely important. We want to have energy prices at socially acceptable level. We want them to be acceptable both for businesses and citizens. And we can see that the market seems to understand that as well and appreciate that, all these efforts made by the management board of Enea. The value of shares since the fourth quarter of 2023 has risen by 140%, and this year by 40%. So we can see this capability, this ability to really achieve the objectives set. So once these funds are available, they will be invested. And this is a perfect opportunity for many Polish businesses. They can get engaged in these contracts and they can improve the resilience of the Polish energy system through Polish businesses. So once again, I would like to congratulate everyone who was involved, and I hope that there will be more such projects. Thank you so much. And now Minister Paulina Henning-Kloska. Thank you and good morning. I have no doubt today that it was one of the best decisions that have been made in the Ministry of Climate and the Environment. This best decision last year was launching the Fund of the Energy System Support. This is the biggest transfer of the funds for the purposes of the Polish transformation of the Polish market. And this will serve the purpose of the modernization of our energy systems. After the recent blackout in Spain, we've been receiving on a regular basis questions from citizens and businesses whether there is any risk of this kind in Poland. Well, this is exactly what we've been trying to do to eliminate this kind of the risk. And the modernization of our grids is one of the priorities of this government, and we've been doing that in cooperation with Bank Gospodarstwa Krajowego, BGK, but also in cooperation with our distribution operators and the main distribution operator, supply operator. And this can help us connect new sources of cheap energy from renewable energy in a way that will make it possible for us to be safe in terms of energy. But it's also important to improve the efficiency of the energy sources. And of course, it needs to go hand in hand with another pillar, and it had been neglected before, it had been blocked. Namely, we need to balance the power grid. We need to build warehouses on a large scale, on high voltage, but also at the level of the distribution network. And we need to include households into this system of storage facilities. So we need well-functioning power systems, and this agreement of today will make it possible to make use of 40 billion Polish zlotys out of 70 billion Polish zlotys. Enea is the last big operator that will be using these funds of the support. And the President knows that I'm from the Małopolska region, and it's exactly in the northern and in the western Poland. This is where this grid modernization is absolutely necessary, because these new sources are denied on many occasions. Had we started this modernization some time ago, we would be able right now to accelerate this grid connection process, to connect at a faster pace to wind farms, to photovoltaics, and without the modernization, this will not be possible. Now, this agreement will make it possible to build 14,000 kilometers of new grids. We will modernize 8,000 kilometers, and there will be investments in the Western Poland, and it's very much needed. I hope this will really be the fueling force, and I hope that we'll be able to decide how to spend these funds to be more specific and hence accelerate the transformation process. And we need also a good storage project. This is very much needed, and I know that the company has been on it as well. So that's all from my side, and I'm very happy that as the Ministry of Climate we can support you. Thank you so much. And no one has mentioned the amount, so now over to you, President. Ladies and gentlemen, 9 billion Polish zlotys. The minister said that it will be, not just a slight fueling force. This will be really a an important watershed change because we'll be spending 40 billion Polish zlotys in the next dozen of years. Altogether, this will be around 100 billion Polish zlotys. As the minister has mentioned, this will be a big opportunity for state-owned companies, because we are a company that is very efficient on the market. We act quickly and we are able to implement these biggest investments in Poland. We can support the power system, and we can also serve our customers. And this is of key importance today. This event today is very important for us, because this can help us improve security. And to some extent, it's also a huge help for the grid. It makes it more flexible, makes it easier to connect to the grid. But we've been also building the digital grid that will be very reactive depending on the needs. You can see that there are many photovoltaic and wind sources, and also it's difficult to manage them in the technical and in the systemic sense. And what we want to do is to be able to react in real time, so that we are able to predict a few hours or days in advance, so that we know how to manage the workings of the grid as such. So I think that it is the biggest step, digitization of the grid, flexibility of the grid, and also building modern and necessary parts of the grid. The Ministry of Energy the minister has said that the energy transformation is so important. It is indeed, and the funds that we are getting will help us modernize the existing grids. These are important assets. We want to expand them. We want to serve them to our customers, irrespective of the voltage, but also we want to have more connection points to the grid so that we can connect these new sources. Right now, in the area where Enea operator is the operator of the distribution grid, we have twice as much power than we need in this part of Poland. So we, Western Poland, Western Wielkopolska and Małopolska, we can serve with our power to other regions of Poland, but we need to be smart. We need to use green energy that is produced in our area. These investments are beneficial for Enea Group, but also for our customers and the society as a whole, because we know how to improve the security of the whole of the system. And this success wouldn't be possible without the engagement of our teams on the part of Enea. I would like to thank all the employees of on the operator's side, all the teams that worked on it. I also would like to thank my colleague for managing the process. It was not easy. It was the first time with this amount of money, with these kinds of obstacles. And sometimes we had to kind of invent the way to get over and to organize everything. A perfect organization. Thank you so much for it. We have succeeded, and right now we can see this new wind coming, this new change, and we'll be navigating, and we want to be a smart ship navigating smoothly through the energy transformations waters, and to be the leader. I also would like to support the ministries for their support, for their trust that we will deliver, and we have delivered. Thank you so much. Well, this dynamic ship will be navigating thanks to the engagement of the BGK.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it's a historical moment for Enea Group. I think it's 9 billion is the highest amount. That's really the highest agreement you've ever signed. It's also a historical moment for us at BGK. Our mission is quite central. We support sustainable development of the society and the economy in Poland. By that, we pursue the economy strategy whereby we want to support energy transition and Polish economy through providing access to safe, cheap energy. Thereby, we support Polish resilience and its energy security. Hence, it's a tremendously important moment for BGK. BGK, that is the operating facility of the National Recovery Plan. So 90 billion zloty, that's the money we have at our disposal that we manage, devoted to energy sector and offshore wind farms. Today, we will be signing the agreement worth 9 billion zloty to support the energy sector. That will be the fifth such agreement that are signed with the energy sector. In total, when you look at the sources devoted also to offshore wind farms, if you look at the agreement signed so far, they will have utilized over 50% of the amount allocated. And we know that this money is spent for long-term investment. The interest rate will be very low, which makes these facilities very attractive. Hence, Poland is on a very good path to use all of the money allocated to Poland as part of the recovery plan. I'd like to thank very much to the ministries involved, to Enea, and everyone that made a contribution so that this was possible. They prepared documentation, dossiers, and the draft agreement so that in a moment we will be able to sign it, and the company will get substantial funds for these historical investments. Yes, they will be tremendously high. So here is that moment. I will now ask President Kinelski and President Czekaj from BGK to put their signatures on these agreements. That's the moment, ladies and gentlemen, to take photos. This is it. Don't hesitate now. And maybe a handshake would also be great from the perspective of taking photos. Thank you. And now, I guess, journalists have many questions. In a moment, we will begin our conference, results conference, so we have some time limitations. That's why my big request is that you can ask one question per person. And please, only ask questions related to this conference. Sawicki, Rzeczpospolita Parkiet. Hi, my question goes to Minister Jaworowski. Minister, you mentioned 70 billion, 40 billion already contracted. Can we expect this year any more such agreements that will be signed with energy companies? And if so, then what would be the purposes? I'm talking obviously about the recovery and resilience plan for Poland. Thank you for the question. Of course, we keep working on new agreements and organizing funds for upcoming investments. At this point, I can't declare any amounts, any deadlines. What I can say instead is that these investment plans are on a good track. If you look at all the investments already declared of energy companies, we're talking about 600 billion. That's the money that will be spent in the next decade, and that's not the end yet. That sounds indeed optimistically. In a moment, there will be also opportunities to ask individual questions. Right, so I'd like to thank all the participants, and now there is time to ask questions informally, and our results conference will start at 12. Thank you.